Now see, she's pulling him back, and he can't use his pivot foot. He's just kicking his butt out of gear because she's forcing him to. He doesn't have any choice. Same thing here. His front end stops, the rear end kicks out, and he can't cross over, and so he's kind of hopping in front because she's pulling back so hard that he can't cross over. Hi, this is Larry Trocha, and today I'm going to do a review of one of my members schooling her horse. Now, this girl has sent in her video, and it is a great example of a couple of points I really want to make to all my members, because they're major points, and they are major sticking spots for a lot of people. A lot of people are making the same mistakes that this girl does. And she basically wants help with her horse loping. She wants him to lope real slow, and she also wants some help on her spins. So that's what we're going to do, okay? So here we go. Let's play it. And here she is loping the horse. And my first impression is the horse looks pretty good loping there. He's got a level top line. He looks good. She looks good on the horse. She's an attractive rider. She tried to do a flying lead change there. It didn't work. He didn't change. Breaks down to a trot and then picks up the correct lead. All right, let's stop for a second. All right, now let's talk about what just happened there. Now, some of the good things this girl is doing is she has really good hand position. Notice her forearms are in line with the horse's mouth. See my mouse moving here? Her hands are in front of the saddle, and they're in a good position. She's not doing anything weird with her hands. When she was loping here, that horse's top line looks pretty darn good. He's loping flat and he's loping slow. But if she wanted to get him loping even slower, she could elevate her hands and lift his front end in time with his stride to shorten his stride, and that would get him to lope even slower. Let's play it here. So right here, she should lift, 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 lift. Every time the front end is down and on the way up is when she should lift on her reins and elevate him. Okay, that's gonna shorten his stride and get him to lope even slower. And once he hits that low speed, then you give him the slack to let him know that's the speed that I want to go. And if he picks up speed again, you just start lifting him again. Okay, so let's play it again. And again, she looks real pretty on a horse. Her position here, her shoulders are over her hips. Now, she has more of an equitation posture here. Her back is a little arched, which I would sure like to see her back either flat or a little rounded, the lower back rounded. When you arch your back like she's doing here, it has a tendency to put a little bit too much weight on your thighs instead of on the cheeks of your butt. So I would probably like to see her relax her lower back and get on the cheeks of her butt a little bit more. Her hand position looks pretty good. She's turning him here. And let's go on here. Okay, now right there, she asked for the flying lead change, and she didn't really ask for the flying lead change correctly. She just changed directions. And what she should have done was hold him straight, keep his shoulders right where they're at, and then she should have taken her right leg, moved it back, and moved his hips over to the left. And that would have gotten him to do a flying lead change and pick up the left lead, okay? The way you get a good lead change is you straighten up their body, keep their shoulders, like she's loping to the right here. She needed to keep his shoulders to the right as she moved his hips to the left. And maybe even lift the reins a little bit, elevate his front end a little bit when she's asking for the lead change. That'll help him to change also. It's a lift with the reins at the same time as you use your outside leg to move the hip over, and that would have got her a change. Okay. So that all looks pretty good. He breaks down to a trot to get into the correct lead. And right here, if she wants him to lope even slower, here again, I would be elevating his front end a little bit. I would be lifting him with those reins a little bit. Because he's really not wanting to go fast. He's wanting to go slow. So it's not like she should park him into the ground or something like that, because he's not misbehaving. He just needs to understand he needs to shorten his stride a little bit more. Now, while we've got her right here in this position, here's some good things. Shoulders, pretty nice position. Her elbows are fairly close to her body. I like that. Some people carry their elbows way out, away from their sides. I hate that. It looks terrible. If I'm going to criticize her in this position, I want you to look at her legs. She's holding her feet out away from the horse's sides. Now, they're not stuck way out there like a lot of people do, but she's still riding like an equitation rider and holding her legs away from her horse's sides. And if you want to get good speed control, speed control with your legs or flying lead changes or any kind of hindquarter movement, you need to be riding with your feet close to your horse, not clamping him, but your legs totally relaxed and kind of limp, just resting on his sides. And she has put a lot of weight into her heels and is holding her feet away from the horse. I would change that while I'm schooling. Now, my guess is this girl probably shows in Western Pleasure, maybe equitation classes. And if you're going to show in Western Pleasure and equitation classes, the way she's riding here is definitely what you need to do if you want to win in those classes. But if you want to win in the reining or any high performance event where advanced maneuvers are required, you need to get your legs close to the horse. You need to get your lower back slightly rounded and get your shoulders directly over your hips. Okay, let's go on here. In a couple strides, you can see her legs move away from the horse there, but no biggie. She's not doing that to a large degree. I'm nitpicking here. Okay. All looks good. Now the horse. Okay. So she stopped him right there, and he flexed at the pole. That was pretty good. She did a good job. Back is a little arched. I would have liked to have seen her, her upper body drop straight down, let round her lower back, get her center of gravity low. That would have been better. Okay. Now I'm going to criticize here. This backup, you notice the horse is wringing his tail on the backup? Let's kind of do that again. So here she's going to go. She's going to lope up here, stop. And on that stop, she kind of threw her shoulders back. You don't want to do that. You want to just sit. You want to sit still and collapse straight down. You want to just get on the cheeks of your butt and let your shoulders drop down into your hips. You don't want to be throwing your shoulders back. Okay. But, to her credit, at least she's got this horse, given to her hands somewhat and flexing at the pole. That's pretty good. Now, he kind of stopped on his front end there, and so she's going to correct him by backing him up. What needs to happen here, when I felt him stop on his front end like that, I would have just rolled him back into the fence and went the other way. If you take if they stop on their front end, you want to do a quick roll back and take their front end away from them and let them know that they've got to stop on their rear end. Okay. And he's wringing his tail when she's backing up, basically because, it's either bothering him, either it's uncomfortable for him physically, or it's kind of teeing him off, and he's just showing a little bit of resentment by wringing his tail. And I don't know the horse, so I can't say which one it is. I'm looking at the way he's using his hocks here. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if his hocks aren't bothering him a little bit. That's a common problem. He might need a little cortisone injection. Hard to say. Her vet could tell her. All right, let's go on here. Now she's going to turn. She's taking her head to the right. That's good. Here's a problem, though. Whenever you turn your horse, you want him to plant the inside pivot foot and come over his hocks and move the front end around. Unfortunately, she's too close to the fence. Let's take it back here a little bit. Watch, she's right up against the fence. So the horse can't plant his pivot foot and turn around to the right. He's forced to just kick his butt out and go the other way. So she's actually hurting herself here instead of helping. So he can't turn. The fence is right there in his way. So to compensate, he just kicks his butt out, and now we go the opposite way. Her body position looks good right there. Let me back that up. So as she lopes straight toward the camera, you know, shoulders pretty level, her head's in good position. A lot of people contort their neck, or they look in, you know, they're looking down at their horse all the time. This girl, you know, this girl has some experience. I like her legs right here. They're fairly close to the horse. That looks pretty good right there. Again, her hand position is pretty flawless. This girl has paid attention to how she's, you know, her hand position, because that's pretty darn good. The horse looks pretty good right here. Let's go on. Okay, so he slid a little bit that time. She stopped him. He slid to a stop. That's pretty good. She's got him angled into the fence so she could use the fence to help her stop. That was pretty good. Ooh, you see that? Okay, let me take this back. Watch when she backs him up, what he does with his left hind foot. Okay, here she is loping toward the fence. Stops good. Now she's going to back him up. See that horse jerk that left hind leg? All right, there's something going on in this left hind here. You know, hard to say what it is. Could be his stifle might be bothering him, or his hock might be bothering him. Looking at what he did right there, I would probably guess his stifle is bothering him. You know, her vet can tell her. All right, let's go on with it here. But he actually slid. You see his slide marks right there? He actually slid 2-3 feet right there. That wasn't too bad. Turn to the left. Oh, okay. Let's stop. Okay, so there is a biggie. I'm going to point this out because that's a bit that she just committed a big a big sin right there. After she got him to slide, and I'm going to praise her for really getting her horse to slide right there. Now I'm going to criticize her. She's going to make a left-hand turn, and when you want your horse to do a good left-hand turn and plant the left hind pivot foot, in my Roll Back and Spin DVD, I show how to side pass a horse to the left and then turn him to the left. And after you turn, you leave and side pass to the left, so that you're actually training that horse to really use that pivot foot, because you're side passing him into the turn and you're side passing him out of the turn. But you need to side pass him in the same direction that you're going to turn. And what the girl does here is she's got it mixed up. She misinterpreted what I said in the spinning DVD, and she's side passing him the wrong direction. There's that left foot again. She's going to turn to the left. Now she needs a side pass to the left, and instead she side passes to the right, and he picks up the wrong lead. So now she's loping to the left on the wrong lead. Okay, she stops him, and she's going to pick up the lope again, try to get it. Now she's got it. Let's go back for a second. So right here, so he's on the wrong lead, and she needs to get him in the left lead, and she's letting him kick his butt out more to the right. So right in here, she needs to move his butt to the left. The instant he starts kicking it out, make him get in the correct lead. Her hand position's good. I'd lift him a little bit right there. I'd be lifting him with my hands, elevate his shoulders a little bit, shorten his stride. But that's not bad. I mean, that's a pretty slow lope, and he looks looks good loping that speed. I wouldn't, if I was her, I wouldn't worry too much. If she can get this kind of lope consistently, that's not too bad. He looks comfortable. She looks comfortable riding him. I'd be happy with that. And stopped on his front end. Now right there, see, it's as soon as she asked him to stop and he dumped on his front end, she needed to either pick him up with her hands held high and bump him back, get elevate his front end and get him back, or she needed to just immediately roll back, take his front end away from him and immediately roll back to the right and go the opposite way. Backing him up all the time, okay, that does some good in the right instance, but what this horse needs right now is to take that front end away and get his weight transfer on his rear end. Okay. So again, he's wringing his tail when he's backing up. If you watch this left hind leg, it's not quite... So when he backs up and puts his weight on his right hind. So there's probably something going on with that left hind. I doubt if it's serious. These days, horses can get a little sore in their stifle. They can get a little sore in their hocks. It's usually not a big deal. Easily corrected. And it's a common problem. Okay, so let's go on with it. Okay, so looks like she's going to side pass him to her left. Now she's trying to spin him to the right. And now she's going to spin him to the left. Okay. Let's take this back a little bit. Right where she started to spin. And I'm really glad she included this piece of footage in the video, because this is I really want to, this is the part you really want to pay attention to, because she's going to spin here, and ideally when a horse spins, like she's going to spin to the right first, and ideally this horse should be planting his inside pivot foot. You see where my mouse is? That's his right hind. If he's going to spin to the right, he needs to plant the inside pivot foot. And his outside front leg, which is his left front leg, should come forward and cross over the inside leg in a stepping motion. Step, cross, step, cross, step, cross. And that's what gets a horse spinning. And it needs to happen with forward impulsion. And what's happening here, the reason why this horse can't spin is she's pulling him back. Now, before we go on with this video, I want to point something out that's really critical. Now, she has my Roll Back and Spin DVD, and I purposely, in that Roll Back and Spin DVD, never said the word back, not once. And I never once said pull your horse back. I made a big deal out of a spin as a forward impulsion maneuver. And yet, the vast majority of people that watch that DVD will pull their horses back over on their hocks. And the reason why is because everybody has a preconceived notion in their head that to get a horse spinning correctly, you got to get him on his hocks. Got to get him on his hocks. And they end up making it so their horse can't spin correctly because they're pulling him back on his hocks. And I can say it till the cows come home, and in just about every spinning video I've ever done, every spinning clip, I point out, you got to be going forward, you got to be stepping forward. A spin is nothing more but a circle, the smallest circle that a horse can possibly make. So a circle is a forward movement. You're going forward and turning at the same time. And that's what allows the horse to plant his inside pivot foot and cross over in front and get a correct, flat, fast spin. But if you pull him back, you make him pivot on his outside pivot foot, the wrong one, and you make him cross under with his outside leg instead of over, so he can't bring his front end around, and you actually cause him to kick his butt out of gear. Now let's go ahead and play this. Now here again, in the Roll Back and Spin DVD, I pointed out that you can spin your horse to the right, and then when you leave, side pass to the right to help him get the idea of using that inside pivot foot. And I also pointed out that you could side pass to the right, then go into a spin to the right, and then leave by side passing to the right. So this side passing helps the pivot foot, but the thing is you got to do it in the same direction as the spin, and she starts this spin side passing to the left the wrong way and then spins to the right. Now see, she's pulling him back, and he can't use his pivot foot. He's just kicking his butt out of gear because she's forcing him to. He doesn't have any choice. Same thing here. His front end stops, the rear end kicks out, and he can't cross over, and so he's kind of hopping in front because she's pulling back so hard that he can't cross over. Now, here again, this is nothing against the girl. She is trying her heart out to do good, but it's just she's got a mental block about this spin, just like everybody else does. She has the idea that she needs to be pulling him back, and just the opposite. She needs to be stepping forward. When she starts that spin to the right, she needs to be stepping forward to the right. Matter of fact, if you go to my website and you go to the home page and you see that link that says Start Here, click that link. That takes you to a page that has the Roll Back and Spin cheat sheet. And in that Roll Back and Spin cheat sheet, it's free, by the way, there's 2 videos which show you exactly how to do this correctly. And there's also written material, and there's also about 20 minutes of audio along with illustrations that show you exactly how to get a correct spin. And so if you want to know how to do it, just go to the website, get that cheat sheet, you'll see. But anyway, so let's go on with this here. And here again, there's a little too much arch to her back. If she wants to spin, if she wants to do good stops and good spins, she needs to slide her pelvis forward and sit on the cheeks of her butt. Right now, she's sitting on her seat bones and her thighs. See where her butt is stuck out behind her? Here's her butt is stuck out behind her shoulders. Okay, so if you want good stops and good spins, you need to scoot your pelvis forward, sit down on the cheeks of your butt, let your shoulders just drop straight down into your hips, and round your lower back a little bit. Okay, you want to sit totally relaxed, just like a sack of potatoes. Okay, and that'll make a big difference in your stops and your spins. All right, let's go on with it here. And I think we're just about done. We don't have much farther to go. Yeah, let's see what she's going to do here. Oh, I think she's going to spin again. Let's see here. Now, right there, she started with a backward step and caused that horse to cross under instead of cross over. Let's just play it. Let's just let her do it, and we'll talk about it later. Now, that looks pretty good. Couple of crossovers. Now she's lost it. Now he's crossing under instead of over. That's why it's having to hop. Using the wrong pivot foot. Now here again, she should be stepping forward. She's going to spin to the other way. She needs to be stepping forward instead of going back. Crossing under, that's why he's hopping. That's why he's using the wrong pivot foot. Okay, let's go back a little bit. Okay, so right here, she's walking forward. I'd go right into the spin from the walk. I wouldn't stop and back, because there's a backward step. It needed to be a forward step. Crossing under instead of crossing over, using the wrong pivot foot. Now she needs to step forward right there before she starts her spin to the right.
Done.
So he's kind of stepping under him. He's kind of stepping on himself. He's banging his legs together, and that's why his front end's hopping. And there's something else too. When she's spinning to the right, she's got her right leg stuck in his shoulder, blocking his turn. And when she spins to the left, same thing. She's got her left foot too far forward, blocking his shoulder. See if we can see it here. So she's going to spin to the left. You see where her left foot is right here? See her leg? Her foot is way up in this horse's shoulder. Now, horses are taught to move away from pressure. And here's pressure right here. She's blocking his shoulder. So this leg, this inside leg, if she's spinning to the left here, that leg needs to be resting quietly against that horse's side, or move it back a little bit more. But right now she's blocking his shoulder. It's making it so that he doesn't want to go that way. And that's a common problem. A lot of people do that. Now when she spins the opposite way, same thing. Her right foot's going to come up and it's going to get in the way of the horse's shoulder. You can see it right there. It's way up. It needs to be hanging in a neutral position. Her hand position is good. I mean, this girl, she's got talent. I wish she lived closer. I'd love to give her a couple of personal lessons. I tell you what, as good a rider as she is, with a little bit of help, she could have this horse doing that spin great in about 3 rides. The stopping, same thing, could really improve that stop in about 3 rides. So she's going to watch this critique, and if she takes it to heart, which I think she will, she's a serious girl. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if we don't see a big improvement in a very short period of time. So I think we're almost done with the video here. Oh boy, right there. I don't know if you saw that. Let me take that back. Watch this horse pull on her hands when she stops him here. Right there. Did you see that? So, he's doing that because she was pulling him back during that spin, and I think it just kind of frustrated him. He couldn't find any release of pressure. So this is kind of his way of saying, Jesus. So he's trying to pull the reins out of her hands right there. And she needed to go ahead and take a hold of him and kind of kick on him a little bit and say, hey, get off my hands. But, from hanging on his mouth like that in the spins, that's why he's doing that. It's just kind of frustrated him a little bit. I don't think it was a big deal. I think this horse is probably a pretty good-minded horse. I like the horse. And here again, you notice when she backed him up there, he's moving his hips to his right, which, and he's ringing his tail also. Again, which makes me suspect that left hind is bothering him a little bit. The other thing I should mention also, the other thing that will make a horse back crooked, like say this horse is backing up and he's moving his hips to the left, if he is stiff on the right, that will cause him to back and move his hips to the left as he's backing. So there could be other factors involved. He might be perfectly sound and perfectly fine. There might be other reasons why, he's backing crooked like that. All right. All right, just going to ask him to give his head to the right. He did that pretty darn good. Ask him to give it to the left. Did that good. Yeah, that's not bad. So, that's pretty much the end of the video. And he gave his head good there to the left. I would have liked to seen him give his head while he was moving forward. Because a lot of times when you ask them to give their heads to standing still, it's kind of false suppleness. I want to see a horse supple while he's moving forward, and I want to see him supple while he's backing up also. That helps just about any horse. So anyway, this kind of wraps it up for this critique. I hope I wasn't too critical on this girl. Like I say, she's doing a lot of things right. She's a good rider. Her balance is good. She's going to have a lot of success. She just needs a little more information on to get that spin and that stop a little bit better. And she'll be home free. My guess is, like I say, if she'll follow the instructions here, in another 3 rides, 4 rides, I think she could see a big improvement. especially on that spin. If she'd take that horse into a circle, about a 20-foot circle, and bring it down smaller and smaller and smaller, she could have this horse spinning in just a couple rides. And like I say, in that roll back and spin cheat sheet, I explain how to do that. All right, we're going to call it quits. Again, I want to thank this young lady for sending in the video. It was a good demonstration. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
I hope you liked this video. If you did, go ahead and click that like button and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so YouTube notifies you when I upload a new video. Leave your comments and questions in the comment section below the video. Oh, and don't forget to go to my website and get that free membership. It'll give you access to all kinds of good stuff. I mean, you'll learn a bunch. I'll have a link to it down below also. Okay, that's all for now. Take care.